Hello.
Hi,
Hi.
nice to see you.
It's so good to talk to you too.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming up. I love sharing people's stories at the end of my lives when it gets quiet. I think it's
Yeah.
always so awesome to hear everybody's perspective and their health journey, and it's so encouraging, I know. So, if you don't mind, start from the beginning, and we'll just go from there.
Okay. Um, well, I would say that I struggled uh, from a very young age with not just overdoing it, but also with ED.
Mm.
And I had a very lived in a very in a family that was very much all about being very active. I was and all about being healthy, and I was involved in volleyball, swimming, basketball, track, just everything. And I didn't start actually gaining until like 16, 17.
Hmm.
I kind of had some struggles, and I'm not going to go into depth on all of that because I don't want to get a B. Uh, but I had some struggles, and I stopped doing the activity as much, and but I kept doing the fueling, and I started to gain. And then when I was 19, I had my first child, and I always struggled with asthma, and the asthma got really bad during. I ended up having three children. My asthma got really bad during the pregnancies, and they put me on steroids, and that kind of compounded things. So I gained a lot with those pregnancies, and struggled through, decided even with all of that, I was going to go to nursing school, and I was going to still, I was going to live my life. And I did all of the things, the keto, the Weight Watchers, I even went to the retreats or the camps, just tried and tried and tried because even in nursing school, and then when I graduated nursing school as a nurse, I knew what I needed to be doing, but knowing it and being able to do it are two different things, because this is a chronic, metabolic uh, disease that we have, of obesity. And at the time, you know, med- medicine didn't recognize that. But, you know, I knew, something's just not right here. I, I'm struggling with this, and I know what I need to be doing, but I'm not doing it. And I really used fuel as a way to cope.
Hmm.
And I, I kept doing that. And so eventually I decided, okay, I'm going to do something about this. And I had a gastric bypass surgery. That was about a little over 20 years ago. I had a lot of struggles, and I really got into some counseling, and decided, okay, I'm going to take back control of my life. And I did the first surgery. And the thing about it is that I didn't I didn't do anything though about the behaviors.
Hmm.
I immediately I lost a lot, but I ended up gaining it back because
What kind of
sorry,
dog is that, by the way?
that is a German Shepherd, and
Oh,
she is
love it.
very talkative.
I love it. I love it. Don't
She's
worry about that. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, my daughter just came in, and so she's saying good morning.
Love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't correct the behaviors. I had done some counseling, but for some trauma and things like that, but I hadn't really addressed the coping mechanism. And so I, gained it back. And then I decided, and I had some issues with some transfer schmadiction too.
Yeah.
And then I decided, okay, I'm going to get another surgery about 5 years ago. And I got a DS, a duodenal switch.
Okay.
And I pretty much at that point was in a lot of having a lot of issues with depression.
Mhm.
And just, I think for both of the surgeries, I didn't do the prep work. I didn't do the, um, I didn't do the lifestyle changes, especially with the second one that needed to happen. And at that point, I was trying to be detrimental. I was not, I was struggling emotionally and physically, and my health was getting progressively worse. And I lost a little bit with it, maybe like 50 pounds, and then I just gained back, and then I just kept going. I was on a race all the way back up to 328. And
Can I
yeah.
ask you something really quick? A
Mhm.
couple things. 20 years ago when you had your first surgery, what was your highest?
I had gotten up to, I believe on that one, I was 311. And then I got down to 190.
Okay.
And then with the DS, I I was up to 328.
Uh-huh.
And then I lost the 50, and then I went back up. And I think at that point I had even stopped getting on the box on the floor. I think I was even over that.
When you said you were detrimental to yourself, explain that a little bit.
Um, Deliberately self-sabotaging, deliberately using, fuel as a coping mechanism, but to the extent that I was hurting myself,
Mm-hmm.
that I had low self-esteem. I had um, the depression, and it was at that point it was I just I didn't I didn't think my life was worth living, and I felt like, what's the point anyway?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just, my kids were concerned. They, would come to me, and they, would tell me, "Mom, we want you around. We're worried about you." And I, until I made the decision that I was going to do it, not just for my kids, but for myself, until I made the decision um, that I wanted to live, that I wanted to have a better life, that I wanted a better quality of life. Um, and I went to the doctor and I said, I'm at a loss. I can't walk without a walker. I
Mm-hmm.
can't I can't breathe when I walk. I can't, I'm afraid that this is it, that I'm going to end up being bedbound. Um, you know, between my asthma, fibromyalgia, osteoarthritis, um, and, everything, and my inability to be mobile, I thought this is it. And I finally decided though that I wanted to live. And my primary doctor suggested the MJ,
Mm-hmm.
and I started that. And at first, I was like, I hope this isn't like everything else,
Mm-hmm. Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Um, but it wasn't. It immediately started helping with my inflammation for the osteoarthritis. It immediately started helping with the fibromyalgia. Um, I I was a pretty fast responder, and it right away, within the first month or two, I could tell that my body needed this,
Mhm.
that I had been missing something my entire life. The fact that the fuel noise
Mhm.
went away was absolutely astounding to me. I had lived my entire life with this noise in my head, and I had my life revolved around it.
Mhm.
And when it stopped, I was just in amazement. And I finally started to thrive. I finally started to want to get up in the morning. I finally started to want to walk, to want to move. And, you know, people like Jamie and you that, make the videos and that you can do at home. I started doing all those things. And I just started wanting to be here and wanting to feel better. For me, it's never, I mean, it's nice that I can fit in clothes and that I look better, but for me, it was about surviving.
Yeah.
That's what this medicine did for me, you know?
Mm.
So,
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing this. I have a few questions for you, kind of
yes,
all over the place here. Um, when you said to yourself before you started these medications, you were saying you finally wanted it for yourself. You know now with your food noise gone, how that's so freeing. But before you had treatment, what was the thing that did it for you? How did you come to this realization at this moment that you needed to change for the first time ever? Like how did that work for you? Like why then, before, not before?
my son, my middle son was living with me at the time, and he was having to help me get up to go to the bathroom.
Mhm.
And I was embarrassed and I was heartbroken and I was done with it. I I wanted a better quality of life and I didn't want to become this dependent person that brought all of my kids down, and that's not how they felt about it. They tell me all the time, "Mom, we would do anything for you." And I love that, but at the same time, that's not what I wanted my life to be. That's not what I wanted their life to be. And that was the turning point for me when I couldn't even get up and go to the bathroom by myself.
It's interesting, isn't it? Like sometimes we're so hard on ourselves, like it takes the outside force of us thinking that we're hurting or other people or our family or our kids, right? That makes it that
Exactly.
moment of like, okay, this is it, right? It's not us, which is weird because it should be,
Yes.
but it's like you see them suffer, you see what you're doing to them or how they might be perceiving you, and that became your, okay,
That
this is
was,
my rock bottom.
yeah, that was my why. And I wish it had been just solely for me, but like you said, it often takes that outside force of
Mhm.
thinking this is not just affecting me anymore. I'm just not doing harm to myself. I'm affecting so many other people.
Yeah, I think back to when you were telling me how you've always struggled your whole life. So, your whole life up until this medication, you thought it was because of you, something you were doing wrong, something that you couldn't get control over, right? So, I get it how we can all think, well, screw it. Like, I'm not doing it for myself because I'm a failure, right? And you know what I mean? Like, I can see how that can become a thing because we think it's our lack of willpower or our laziness or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah, and there's a lot of blame,
Yeah.
and that's not how it should be. I mean, there are so many doctors that I follow and that I listen to that say, it's not your fault. This is a disease. This is a chronic disease, and we treat chronic diseases. We need it. We need to treat it. So
So going back to the beginning, when you said you were in an active family, you're kind of just like born into this, like where your parents were like, let's do activities, I'm guessing.
yeah.
Did you, was it something that you felt that was hard to do or that you just didn't want to do it, but you were kind of like forced into because this is your family dynamic? Did that play a role in how you kind of felt mentally as well? Like, I don't know.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. It was high pressure
Okay.
to be and to do the best and to you know it was very, there were some good things about it, but it was a lot of pressure.
Mhm.
And it really played into the ED during those adolescent years. Hmm.
We're not doctors, we're not psychiatrists, but when you look back on your ED, and you were saying that plays a part in it, do you feel like that was already something that you dealt with beforehand and it just kind of made things worse? Or do you feel like that was like a super culprit, like, thing where you felt like you had to be a certain way because of this lifestyle and yet your body was like fighting you, so you felt like you had to like do something to help that? Or was it already kind of there before the whole,
I can,
active?
yeah, I can remember as early as 11 years old sneaking chips because I didn't want my family to know that I was eating an unhealthy something, or too much of it, or
Mhm.
at a late hour. I think it perpetuated it, but I think I had an unhealthy relationship with food. I'm not sure where it stems from, but I think it definitely played a role in it.
How,
The pressure.
how
Yeah,
many siblings do you have?
I have two half sisters and two stepsisters. My dad had five girls,
Did they live
so
with you at that age? Was everyone together?
my two half sisters did, and I did a lot of babysitting, a lot of taking care of them.
Hmm.
And one of my sisters struggled also with her with potatoes, and she was able to get that under control on her own, which I'm so proud of her and proud for her. And I'm so grateful that she didn't have the same long-term struggle that I did, but she also during her adolescence struggled with that. But it's kind of a messy family story. I ended up moving in with my mom and got out of that kind of high pressure situation. They ended up getting a divorce. It was kind of crazy. But
Hmm.
when I stopped doing anything to be active, I kind of went the other direction, you
Yeah.
know,
Hmm.
and so,
Yeah.
it, yeah, yeah.
So we'll get to the story of you on this medication and how you feel about it and everything. But like with your own children, how do you see that this all play with your kids? Your kids have things that they deal with, and how do you handle that with what you've grown up dealing with? And
I think my struggles have, I think genetically, two of them uh, definitely are going through the same struggles and have definitely been affected by this. And then I think also them seeing my unhealthy relationship with food didn't help the situation. The struggles, though, that they see, I think did help them realize very early on this is not something I want to struggle with my entire life. And I can say that at least one of them, my daughter, is really trying hard to change her relationship with food. So um, it's definitely a widespread effect that we have on our families. When we struggle, and when it's also something that, a disease that runs in the family as
yeah,
well.
right. So it's a disease plus environment. Like, I don't know, you said your dad was probably pressuring and it was an active family. I mean, I grew up, my mom was a professional ballet dancer. She was a model. She was active. She was beautiful her whole life. My dad was overweight, morbidly obese.
Hmm.
And I'm like my father. So I had that pressure of my mom being like, here's my daughter, here's my baby girl, and she is not anything that I thought, and And so she would pressure me all the time to do certain things and to look a certain way. And it's
Yeah.
hard. And but the point is like, she had pressure growing up. Your dad had pressure growing up. It's one of those things where it's a continuous cycle a lot of times, right?
Yes. Yes,
And
it
why your
is.
dad is the way he is and why my mom is the way, or whatever.
It is a cycle. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then that's rough to be compared and to be held against a certain standard, puts a lot of pressure on a young person, and it feeds into that thinking that you have that you're not good enough. It
Yeah.
does.
So now you're being treated, and you could tell from the very beginning that food noise, I'm just going to say it, not food noise. I'm not going to say, I'm just going to say it. Food noise has quieted down to where you realize, oh my goodness,
Right.
it's never been your fault. I think that's the one of the biggest. I think inflammation going away quickly. I think the food noise going away. I think those are like the strongest indicators of like, whoa, like this hasn't been my fault. Like this is something that is being treated now.
It's amazing. It's
Um,
absolutely
has
amazing.
that helped you with your ED?
Tremendously, tremendously. Also, counseling helped a great deal.
Okay.
When I finally got in to see the right counselor, the right kind of counselor, and dealt with, the issues, stopped messing around with the small stuff and really went for,
The deep.
okay, this is what we need to be
Yeah.
addressing.
Because
But
ED involves your environmental state, your all those plus the disease, right? Twofold.
yes, absolutely. But I would say that the lack of food noise is what keeps me from day to day going, as far as can I continue to do this long term? Is this something that is a lifestyle and not just a diet? This is a new way of life for me. This is a that I thought I'd never ever get, and now I have this, and it means everything to me, which is why I always say I will be on this, until I can't be anymore, if for whatever reason,
Yeah.
I need my treatment,
It's so true. For most of us on here, even though yes, we talk about our weight, yes, we want to look good in clothes, like you said. It's most of us. I guarantee all 48 people listening can say this in the chat. Like most of it's just because we have our life back, our brain
Yes,
back.
yes,
Um, we're able to just function like a normal person, mentally and physically. And the inflammation and all that stuff is gone. We don't hurt anymore. There's so much more to it than the
yes.
word
Yeah, I
that.
mean, just being able to get up and the morning and take that first step and walk and not be in crippling pain.
I talk
And
about that all the time, Jamie. I swear,
yeah,
every single morning I get my 2 feet on this floor and stand up for the first time. That one morning goes by that I'm not like, thank you to
it's
myself
amazing.
and to this treatment.
Yes.
Because we
Yeah.
all know what it's like to get up out of bed for the first time in the morning and you're stiff and you're in pain and you're trying to wobble and hobble down to the bathroom. It
Yep.
is, it is, it is not great, not good.
Yes. Yes. And I'm so grateful, and I feel so blessed every day that I'm down the 158, and I've got just a little bit more to go, but I'm just really gonna rely on my body to tell me, as far as like I really rely on how I feel.
Mhm.
And I've got to do all the skin removal and all the things, but just feeling better and being able to and walk and breathe and just that's that's amazing for me. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Um, so you're saying you lost 157 or you're at 157?
I
Or
lost I lost 158. I'm at 170.
okay.
So I'd like
Awesome.
potentially get down to like 150 and then do the removal. And then hopefully that will put me somewhere where I'm comfortable. But I'm kind of playing it by ear as far as that goes, and whatever the doctors think, and what makes me feel good, you know.
Absolutely. If anybody has any questions for Jamie in the chat, please feel free to put questions in. So, being treated for the first time ever, if you're having the success physically and mentally, you're going to stay on it for life if you can. Obviously, I am too. If someone were to come to you and say, Jamie, what are these all about? Like, what should I do? What would be your insight for people who are maybe asking you about this treatment?
Well, most of the time I say start with your primary doctor, and I do agree with that, and I think you should. But sometimes you have to see what kind of a response you get from that doctor, and if you're not getting the concern or the answers that you're wanting, sometimes you have to seek out an endocrinologist or a weight loss specialist, a certified obesity doctor, to get started. Some people don't have the option of going through their insurance. So I say you start with that, though. You try to do all the things to advocate for yourself to do that through insurance. And if you can't do that, then you go the compounded route. I say you fight for yourself. You do everything you can to get this treatment. And mine's not been just a straightforward, my insurance has covered. I've been very fortunate, but there have been some times when we've added things in, and adjusted things, and it's been a process. It's not, you have to stick closely to a doctor. You have to have a doctor that you trust, that you can, talk to about these things, and say, hey, something's going on, or I want to change something. What do you think? Someone you can bounce the ideas off of, and everything that's licensed. But I say do whatever you have to do. Fight for yourself, advocate for yourself, because there is a way to feel better. There is a way to get treatment for this disease, and you deserve it. We all deserve it.
Absolutely. We do. If someone's going to come to you, Jamie, and say, I don't know about this medication, the side effects sound crazy. What do I like? What are you gonna say to someone when you have the opportunity to share with them how amazing this treatment is? Like, what do you say to encourage someone?
I ask them, what do they think the side effects of obesity are?
Mhm.
What do they think the side effects of, high blood pressure, sleep apnea, just osteoarthritis, all of these, having to get a knee replacement at age 52 because you can't walk, or having a doctor tell you, actually, I can't touch your knees until you get below a certain weight. So there's really nothing I can do. I'm sorry you can't walk. All of these side effects, the heart disease, the all of the side effects of obesity are way worse than any of the, often short-term side effects that might occur from a GLP-1, which are very manageable. And the GLP-1 has been studied long-term for over 20 years. And it's been studied that it's safe to be on long-term, that it has amazing effects, not just for the weight loss, but for, the heart, for the kidneys, for, sleep apnea, for heart disease, just there's so many other good effects that outweigh what some of the, other side effects can be. And I think if you stay close to, your doctor, if you are having side effects, and you mitigate those with, managing them, or if you have to go down a little bit in dose, you know, there's a lot of different things you can do to manage side effects, you know.
Absolutely. I love that, Jamie. We'll end on a non-scale victory. You can either tell us one of your favorites or something that's happened this week.
Yes, for sure. I actually, in the last week, have stopped carrying my cane with me everywhere. I was uh, having to use it for curbs and things like that, and just almost like a security blanket, have it with me, even though, I can walk around the house pretty much without it. In the last week, I've been going places without my cane
Oh,
and walking around without a cane, and I'm absolutely thrilled.
it's got to be giddy with that, Jamie. I bet.
I am.
How
I am.
exciting is that? So freeing.
Yes.
Wow. Congratulations. I was like, do I have a non-scale victory, like a silly, like just a simple one? And this week I was walking with a friend of mine up a street that I wasn't even thinking was an incline whatsoever, really, which is a non-scale victory for me. And I feel bad saying this, but my friend over here was as I'm talking the whole time to her because I don't shut up,
Mhm.
talking the whole time. And before I would have been like, this is a hill. How can I even talk? But I wasn't even thinking about it. And I look over at her and she's like, whew, whew, we gotta slow down a little bit. And she could hardly breathe and she could hardly, and I felt for her, but this is going to sound bad. But I'm looking at her going, oh my God, is this a struggle? This is a struggle for her. And I felt bad. But my point is like, I wasn't even struggling. I didn't say anything. Of course, I wasn't even going to say that. But I'm in my mind, I'm like,
Yeah.
look, I'm not even thinking about, oh my God, here I'm going to have to walk up this road and here I'm trying to hold a conversation and I'm going to have to be faking me breathing heavy. We've all been there where we're like dying and we're like trying to pretend like we can breathe just fine, which is making it worse. So that was like a fun little non-scale victory that I felt bad about with my friend, but at the same time I was like, look at me go. Look at me.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome.
But it just shows how just obviously losing weight and working out and all that stuff builds your cardiovascular system and everything
It
else.
does. Makes you feel so good when
Yeah.
when those kinds of things happen too. And
Oh,
but I just want to thank everybody on here for all of the kind comments. And I know I didn't get to read everything because I was too busy running my mouth, but I really appreciate all the support from this community. It's been fantastic. And, while I have support from my kids and stuff at home, I don't have a lot of, friends of outside of here, and everybody that's been here in this community has been so kind, so supportive, just so it's such a fantastic community to be a part of. So just thank you, everyone.
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Right. Yeah. Dawn, everyone's saying thank you for your time sharing here. Um, you added Michelle. Michelle says, we'll talk. That's great. Jamie, thank you for coming up. Thank you for spending however long we spent together. Appreciate it. It's
Yeah.
always so nice to have you. And again, if anybody ever wants to do this, don't feel shy. You can come up without your camera, just like Jamie, and we can have a conversation. So
Thank you. Yeah.
you're
Thank you
welcome,
for
Jamie.
having me.
Absolutely. Do you mind if I put this on YouTube? If not, it's fine. But
Oh, I don't mind at all.
okay,
Yeah.
sometimes
Okay.
those that don't know, I do have a YouTube channel, same name, AJ. Let's talk about it. Where I'll put the long form on there. People can watch these videos and hopefully get encouraged by them. So thank you, Jamie. I'll let you down.
Okay.
All
Thanks.
right, thank
Bye.
you. So that was fun, guys. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being here. Thanks for listening. Always, I appreciate having time to spend with people at the end to have them share their journey. And I think it's amazing, right? I mean, we learn something new every day from someone in this community about their struggles and then their amazing success that they have. So thank you guys as always for being here. I've been on for a couple hours. I'll be back on tomorrow.